Welcome back to Anchor Designs. I'm James, and today we're going to do a shop update, what's coming, and what we're going to be on with. We do quite a varying amount of projects, and this channel originally started from my Instagram, which is starting to, pick up a bit more pace now, which is good. I kind of understand it a lot more, so it's starting to, become quite exciting, which is great. So I'm going to try and do a little bit more of an overview inside the shop through YouTube, which is why I'm doing this YouTube channel as well. So I'm really enjoying it so far. If I'm still doing this in a few years time, I don't know if that'll be the case, but I hope it will be. So let's get started and let's do a bit of a tour around the shop of what we're doing and what we're doing next. Okay, so what you see in front of you on the left is the anchor cart. If you want to see how that was made, that was quite an early video of mine that I did. So probably worth checking that one out if this appeals to you. Secondly, I spent a long time trying to organise these tools that I use. So I use quite a lot of small size tools. In this space, I haven't got room for massive wood lathe, big pillar drills, big bandsaws, etc. So the beauty of having something like this set up is that I can have multiple shelves, and it's not the most comfortable to use, but it's certainly the most practical. Everything that can now be switched on with a flick of the button. Everything's connected to one mains power supply, and it's I want to be doing everything. I want to be doing metalwork. I want to be doing woodworking. I want to be doing blacksmithing. I want to do making things. Whatever I fancy, I can have the availability to do on the day. So I've got recently took my Elu flip saw. So this is a table saw and a flip saw. It's quite old now. I took that out of storage, which is nice. So I'm going to be able to start ripping some more boards down and hopefully start doing a bit more woodworking on the channel. I've moved this shelf on the top to have the go-to hand in hand is the Jones & Shipman precision drill and the Kennedy power hacksaw. I had to repair that the other day. And then I've got the sanders and the bench grinders. I've just bought another one the other day, so I need to get that sorted. And I'm also going to be bracing these, so I've bought some 18mm ply that I cut down with my saw a few days ago. So that's a little job that we're going to be doing today. And that's kind of it, really. On this side, the big pillar drill is going to be moved onto its own stand that we've drawn up plans to get sorted with that, probably with the other pillar drill. Which is going to be on this side, which is the milling machine is here. The Myford lathe is on this side, which we've got some nice little upgrades and updates on the Myford. And this is going to be a full wheel trolley. So I made this last year for my last shed that I was in, and it's going to be incorporating one of the black toolboxes inside a big box section frame on casters, and this is going to be really solid, bolted down to the bed, which is going to be great because I want everything on casters. I want everything to be moved eventually, and hopefully I will have a new workshop very shortly. So this place was only ever temporary, and it's going to be on the water, I'm hoping. So it will be a floating workshop, which will be, super exciting. I've sold a few things. I've cleared out and gotten rid of quite a few bits and bobs. The blacksmithing side over here has always been a little bit of a pain. And I've put the forge on top of this that did have the pillar drill on, and these gas bottles get in the way. If I had a bit of a wider angle view, you'd see it's still a bit of a mess and does require an amount of organisation. I did get a few messages on Instagram like, why didn't I paint the walls and why didn't I make paint the floors and make it look presentable and nice? Well, it's not my building. I put temporary lights up. I've made it as bright and light as possible to get the best footage that I kind of can. End of the day, I'm still learning, and as I say, this was only ever meant to be temporary. So with that, I've got to bear that in mind, and there's only certain things that I'm allowed to do to a building that isn't mine. So yeah, and you've got to be respectful to the landlord, etc. So what we're going to be doing today, I'll finally get to this point, is we're going to be sorting out the tool stand. We're going to be putting on probably another shelf and moving bits and bobs on it and putting on the plywood shelves on there, making that nice and sturdy and a bit more usable. We've got I've had a tray made for my Myford lathe, which is really cool. They used mirror polished stainless, which I'm not a big fan of, so I'm probably going to have to dull that down. And I've bought myself a quick tool change post for the Myford as well, that we are going to need to, I want to blue it, just to give it the best possible protection as I can. Here we are. So I had this made. I'm going to give you a bit of a closer look, but this tray, the design and the pattern was actually available on the Myford Lathe Facebook page. I'll put a link in the description if I remember. And this is really going to help the use of cleaning and keeping the Myford clean and etc. And it allows me to potentially use flush coolant if I ever want to. Not that I probably will, to be totally honest with you, but it's a nice upgrade for the Myford lathe. So this is from some nice material. It is from, I bought this from a company and they made this for me. The pattern was already available. The welding, I didn't do this myself, and the press braking, I didn't do this myself. 3 reasons because of this. A, I don't have a laser machine in-house. I don't have a press brake in-house, and I don't have a TIG welder. So there are all 3 combinations of things of the reason why I didn't make this in-house. It's looking very patriotic, but as you can see, this is mirror polish, which for a lathe spitting out sharp bits of metal, this won't look like this for very long. They did this because this is what they had, and this is what they had available, and then they very kindly TIG welded this together. So for me, I'd much rather have it that way than the other way, and they didn't put the holes in it for some reason. I don't really know why. Oh, I do know why. This was actually done on a punching machine, that's why. It was done on a punching machine and not a laser. Those of you that don't know, a punching machine uses a punch and a die to slit out the parameters, and then for the holes you need the exact die and punch to be able to make that said hole accurately and cleanly. And they didn't have, I think it was 11mm hole that I asked for, so they didn't cut it out of anything else, which is fine. And the file that you do get has a coolant hole roughly around here, and I didn't really want that, so I said to them don't put that hole in it, but they didn't put any holes in it. It is stainless. It will be a bit of a not a challenge, but yeah, it just needs to be the holes marked out, etc, etc. So that's a nice little job that we've got. And next up we have one of these, which is a Myford ML7 quick tool post changer. Now I'm not going to get these out of the bags because I bought some cold bluing, but I want to cold blue all of these just to give them a little bit more protection. And these are, yeah, the holders themselves, which is going to help out massively. And I bought this from RDG Tools, which are, yeah, they're okay. They're quite popular in the world of Myford and Boxford and model makers, etc. So they're kind of the only place you can buy this, you know, stuff off reliably. But it's definitely not made in Nottingham anymore. They're based in West Yorkshire. If you're watching this and you've probably got a Myford or heard of a Myford, and probably buy engineering tools anyway. And I got myself a spring guide for the lathe, which is quite handy. Blondie Hacks has just done a video on making one of these, a much higher standard in quality to one of these, and I could have made one if I had the inclination. I did not, so I bought one for £4, so I can't moan. Next one. Okay, next off is something I was quite surprised when I saw these, but these are marked FOC. So I went into my local B&Q, which in England is our hardware, you know, DIY shop that we do, and leaving the store, there was a big bucket with I'm assuming like samples and wood flooring pieces, and I was pretty surprised to see it was actually solid wood in here. You can have these if you leave a charitable donation in the little bucket next to it, which I thought was really, really nice. So I've got some very nice teak, and this is teak flooring, solid teak, very nice. Got a nice little pile there. I got some oak and I got some bamboo, which, you know, I'm like, wow, this is free. They're nice sizes, you know, it's pretty solid wood, and it's free. Well, not free, but, you know, it's for peanuts for what you'd actually try and buy these. So I've always been into blacksmithing, but getting more and more into it, if you know what I mean. As it's kind of getting more and more popular, it inspires you to, well, get a bit more involved. So hence why the previous videos we have made an anvil, we've made a swage block, we've made a forge, etc. So when I'm going to be starting making more parts and projects and things and bits and bobs, which I'll move on to a little bit later, I want to put handles on them. So something like this, which is nice and cheap, it doesn't take up a lot of storage for something that you probably only want to use about that bit for a handle. Yeah, pretty ideal. So yeah, nice one, B&Q. Next off is something I very much enjoy both collecting, is these, which are perfect handle screwdrivers. These are both English and German made screwdrivers, which is really, really cool. Hand Tool Rescue I think he's going to start making some of these, so I thought I would have a little bit of a go myself. But screwdrivers are quite common. I also have a perfect handle axe, which is pretty cool, which is also from Germany. With these, I've got a few more, but they're wrapped up for winter. I have decided to have a go at making some big ones myself. So these are from laser cut blanks. I got these done the last time I had some laser cutting doing, and these I'm cheating a little bit. I'm not hand forging these because these would typically have been hot forged, drop forged, whatever you want to call them, pressed and then made. So these are going to be my blanks, and I plan on making a perfect handled machinist hammer. So I've got quite big, you know, gorilla hands, and I kind of measured this around my hand, and these are going to be made on the milling machine. So these are going to be cut off here. We're going to do some machining on these tops here, ready to make a handle. We're going to shape these with a file by hand, and we're probably going to make one of them at least into a machinist hammer, to be then made on there with interchangeable brass and aluminium heads. So that's going to be a upcoming project that I am super excited getting involved. These are to be able to clamp it to the milling machine bed easily from here, and then be able to get the cutter in nice and easy. If you didn't have these on, you could put it in a vise and do it that way, but because we're going to be taking off quite a bit of depth, we don't want to be you don't kind of want to be anywhere near it, run the risk of damaged tooling, vices, etc, etc, but can be done. I've left these on here because, well, why not? It makes it a little bit easier for me, and you can trim these off at the you know, the last minute, and it allows you to again have these pretty square. The holes in the middle are just for bonding. We have had some marked holes here, which you can see, due to the fact that this is 12mm. Typically with a laser cutting machine, you would stick to a 1:1 ratio, which means you would only cut a 12mm hole inside 12mm material. Yes, you can achieve a lot better now. I believe you can cut maybe a 4 to 5-ish mil minimum, but it's going to be pretty bad quality. So what you can do is etch mark on here, and we're going to be drilling down through these to be able to put our brass pins straight through the middle to be able to hold the handles on. So again, this is going to be quite an interesting project. It's something I've wanted to do for quite some time and I haven't got round to it because the mill has been used for other side work that I've been doing. So that's not, I haven't had that set up or available to use yet. So, but that's coming soon, which is going to be great and exciting. Just thought I'd give you a little bit of a pan of the shop. In the 6 month period of me being in this shop, a lot has changed, a lot has gone, a lot has come on board, and there's going to be a few little changes. So yeah, hit subscribe to see those, and take a look at my other videos, and check out my future videos because they only get better with time. I'm learning things every video that I do, so it's, you know, it's getting better, it's getting more exciting, and yeah, I really look forward to growing it and making it better. Cheers guys, see you next time.